Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux for Noobs. Have you ever tried opening a file and you got an error, permission denied? Or if you ever tried to open a storage and it wouldn't let you to create a new folder or create a new file or copy paste any file? In today's video, we are going to learn about the permissions in Linux, how do they work, and how you can modify the permissions of a folder or a file. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Before we begin, we need to understand there are three entities who are trying to access a file. So I'm going to write them down here. The first one is owner. So owner is the one who create the file, so don't confuse owner with the root. If I create a file while I was logged in as John, then John would be the owner of that file. However, since root is a super user, the root can change the ownership. The second type of people who will be trying to access the file, will belong to a certain group. Group is a collection of users. If you create a group with a predefined set of permissions, every time you add a user into that group, will have all those permissions automatically. For example, if you are a common person, you might not be allowed to carry a gun. However, if you join the police, then you have that permissions. Similarly, if you cannot write prescription, but once you become a doctor, then you can write prescriptions as well. So once you join a particular group, you will get those permissions or privileges to do certain type of actions. So that's what group means. Okay, and the third is like anyone else. I'm just gonna call them others. So we have three type of people who are trying to access the file. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open up my terminal, and then I'm gonna cd to desktop, and I'm gonna create a file. So then I'm gonna see the permissions of this file. It's gonna look something like this. So this is what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna copy this, then I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, so I'm gonna divide this into three parts. Then this would belong to the owner, then this would belong to the group, and this would belong to the others. Okay, the file which I just created, the owner, which would be me, I can read the file or I can make the changes to the file. So I have read permissions and write permissions. I'm gonna write it. R stands for read, W stands for write. And the third one would be X, which is for execute. Okay, so the first dash here which you are seeing, it means that the file, this is a file. If this was a directory, for example, if I create a folder, and if I do the ls command again, you will see it will start with D, as you can see here. So D stands for directory. So D means directory, dash means it's a file, and if you see an L here, that means it's a link. So that's what it represents. You can see just a small string can represent so much information, right? Okay, so I have divided this into three parts. So you can see here the owner has reading permission and writing permission. If there was an X, something like this, that means the owner can also run the file as an executable. We can try that as well. Let's make the changes, and we're gonna do it through the graphical user interface, but I will show you how to do the same using the command line. So if I right click on it, if I go to the properties, if I go to the permissions, if I click on this allow executing file as a program and close it. Now if I run the command again, you will see that it says RWX, right? So now it means that we can also execute this file as a script or a program, right? So since there is dash, that means the owner doesn't have the executable permissions. Similarly, the users who are assigned to this file, they can only read the file. Okay, so they only have the read permission, but they do not have write or execute permission. If you see the new output, you might see R-X. So that means they don't have the write permissions. R-X, you can see here R-X right here, this part. So that means they do not have the write permissions, but they can execute the file because I just made it executable. And others would be, they can only read the file, they cannot make changes to it, delete it, or they cannot execute it. This is a very good practice. You should not see this, something like this. Because if you have any file with read, write, and execute permission, which is assigned to others, that is very unsafe. That means anyone can read or make changes to that file, anyone. Okay, so you should not set read RWX permission for others because it's not safe. Another thing is this RWX, they also have numerical values which are represented by 4. The write is represented by 2 and execute is represented by 1. Okay, so R is equals to 4, W is equals to 2, X is equals to 1. So what does it mean? For example, if you see something like this, so if you add them up, like 4 plus 2 plus 1, you will have 7. So that means the owner have the full permission, the group has the full permission, and the others also have the full permission, which is not safe, right? So similarly, let's just say if we want to write this in numerical form, so how would it look like? So in that case, the first is RW, right? So R plus W would be 2 plus W would be 6. Group is R, which stands for 4, would be 4. Then others would be RWX, it would equal to 4 plus 2 plus 1, which means 7. So if I convert this ownership into numerical value, it will be equal to 467. So if you ever tried to run a command like chmod in the past and you have used numerical code like maybe 700 or something like 755, but you didn't know what it means, this is what they mean. So I'm gonna write it here just to make it even more clear. So for example, the code 755, it would mean RWX, which means 4 plus 2 plus 1. This will be equals to 7, which is the owner. The second one is group, which is 5. That would be 5 means 4 plus 1, so it means R-X. And the third one is again 5, that means other also have the same permission, which is R-X. So this is how you can change the ownership of a file. So this is how you can see the ownership of a file. So now you understand what these codes means. Okay, so now we will see how to make permissions of a file by using terminal, by using these same methods. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my terminal. I'm gonna go to the same file which was at desktop. I'm gonna change the permission of this file, linux.txt. For that, I'm gonna type chmod and then u, which means owner. Owner would be read write executable, comma, no space, comma, then group is equals to, it would be read write again, because we need to make changes. If we just type r-x, then it would be the same. So I'm going to type rwx to make the modification. And for others, I'm gonna keep it the same. For others, I'm gonna keep it read only, then the name of my file, which is linux.txt. Hit enter. Now if I run the command again, you will see we have successfully made the changes. You see here. So r-x, now we have rwx. Now the group also has, or anyone in that group has, the permission to make changes to this file. Okay, and if you want to see which group, for example, I am in the wheel group, which is a pretty common on Arch Linux, open source, Fedora. Currently I'm using Fedora. So if I type groups, then my username, then it will say that I belong to wheel, which is a very common group, in order to provide sudo permissions, so I can run sudo commands. Okay, so similarly you can do the same thing by using codes as well, which we saw earlier. For example, if I type chmod, so let's just say I want to reverse the changes, and for that we will use the code. So right now this looks something like this. Right now the current permissions looks like this: rwx, and then r, right? And I'm gonna change it to this one, and for that the code is 755. We just created it, right? And for similarly we can type 755 linux.txt, and it's gonna reverse the changes. So if I run the command again, you will see we have successfully reversed the changes. So this was the changes we made, this was what we have previously, and we have the exact same permissions again. And this is all about permissions. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this helpful, please give a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye.